Welcome to my devlog for my first game called The Last Bird. Today is Saturday, that means that I successfully survived through the whole week. Since I have some free time today, I will make some progress on my game. This week I did some updates to my scripts, so I guess now it is time for some visual upgrades I wanted to do for a very long time, because I don't really like how some sprites look right now. So yesterday we made some new images. First of all, power-ups. Some weeks ago they were added to my game. One heals the player and the other gives you rockets. After some playtesting, I received feedback that it is not easy to see what is depicted in the green power-up, and you can't tell for sure what it does. I totally agree that the wrench in the power-up is not clearly visible, so I swapped it for a way simpler design. Now it's a plus sign that is much more visible, easy to understand, that it will not hurt you but heal you instead. If I started talking about things that will hurt you, here is anti-aircraft rounds. They damage both you and the enemy, so be careful around them. In my opinion, these rounds don't really match the look of the game, so we tried to make it more realistic, and I think we did a great job. The only problem is that the round now is less visible, especially in cloudy conditions, but I will fix it with some particle system. I guess I will lose some realistic look, but having fun is much more important here. The last two things I changed was how rockets look. They had the same issue as the AA rounds. It just didn't really feel good. Last but not least is the main player plane. This is the old variant and here is the new. I personally really like the new update. It looks more round and has an awesome nose art that adds charisma to it. Please tell me, what do you think? Today is Sunday and I'm not feeling like doing anything productive. So I guess I will relax by doing something I love. One of my hobbies that I am the most passionate about is making models. World War II plane models to be precise. And joining me today is an American airplane P-51 Mustang, variant from the movie Red Tails. While I am working on this plane, I guess I will talk more about bombers, since I haven't really done that. So, we have three different enemy aircrafts. They are all from World War II era. The first one is a heavy bomber. It has machine gun turret on top and a ball turret underneath. Since it has some mass, it is quite resistant to your bullets, so it is pretty hard to knock it out. Heavy plane like this can be called strategic bombers because their primary role is strategic bombardment. It bombs factories, large bridges, infrastructure, and other important areas like airports. The next on our list is a tactical bomber. It is smaller but also has two turrets. If you have seen enough Hollywood war movies about World War II, I already can hear you saying, "Hey, this plane is definitely inspired by Henschel 111 P2 Werk Nummer 1526 auf 5 Staffel Kampfgeschwader 54 Bomberwing." And you are absolutely correct. This plane was extensively used as a strategic bomber, troop transport, naval bomber, torpedo bomber, and even close support aircraft. Lastly, we have light bomber that is inspired by Bf-110. It has only one turret, so you don't have to worry about it too much. During wartime, this plane was used as a heavy fighter, long-range bomber escort, and sometimes as a dive bomber or close support aircraft. In my game, it mainly has the role of a light bomber. So I guess that's it. I will definitely improve these aircrafts over time, maybe add something new, but I guess we will have to wait and see. Today is Tuesday, and I am back with some more updates on the game. During the past playtesting, almost all people said that they didn't know that some enemy parts are much more vulnerable than the others. So I thought of a simple way to make it more clear and give instructions to player. This loading screen will pop up before every battle and familiarize you with some aspects of the game, like vulnerable parts of the aircraft, retreat function, bailout mechanics, weapons, and controls. The next thing I added was a fuel timer. It will only be important in a campaign game mode. Each day you will have limited amount of time to carry out an interception mission. When the time runs out, you will have to return to base if your plane is still flyable. Other ways to finish the mission will be to retreat, bail out of the plane, or crash land if you are shut down. Some planes will be able to carry more fuel or even fuel tank underneath the aircraft, thus extending operations time. Fuel tanks are something that was used extensively in the Second World War. They were mounted underneath the fighters and provided long-range escort capabilities, used most noticeably in Europe theater, where P-51 Mustangs had to escort Allied bombers over Europe, or when Americans conducted bombing missions in Pacific, because distances there were massive and bombers needed cover. Usually when the mission encountered bandits, fighters would drop their fuel tanks to lose weight and drag, then move to intercept the enemy. During the Battle of Britain, Luftwaffe had limited escort capabilities because the main fighter Bf-109 had limited range at that time and couldn't escort bombers to some targets. Heavy fighters like Bf-110 had the range but was inferior to much more maneuverable Hurricane and Spitfire. This weakness resulted in a huge loss of bombers. Okay, that was quite a long deraute, so back to the game. The last thing I added to the game was a little halo around the rockets to make it look like it emits light. And also this huge explosion, I'm still working on it. It should go off when you damage the enemy plane multiple times and cause a lot of damage, because now all the effects are kind of weak. My plan for now is to improve the main game loop as much as I can before moving on to the story mode. I guess I should call it a campaign, because story is a strong word for a casual game like this, and it does not play an important role in my opinion. Campaign will consist of a time period in which you will have to carry out interception missions each day, and depending on your success you will be able to turn the tide in a war. As you can see, P-51 is coming along nicely. Now it is only left to paint it and add the calls. But it is quite a lengthy process, so I will probably go back to it someday later. I guess that's it for now. I hope I will see you in the next devlog, where I should probably start making campaign interface.